I'm feeling inspired to be here with you live. The eclipse energies are pretty potente. They're really, really powerful, and witnessing these grand changes with the potency of the retrogradation. So Cancer going retrograde, followed up by Venus currently retrograde, and Mercury going retrograde, Venus and Mercury, and and then the end of the month solar eclipse at the 9 degree. We've had these like sequences of 9 degree points in the new moon energies, and to me it's the sort of culminating patterns which we can trace back, and there's always patterns within patterns, but we can trace back to 2016, 2017, and go right back to 2008. We can see these major planetary bodies, the big generational energies with Pluto. And I can often speak to the Pluto in Libra generation, which has a lot to do with relational aspect, which is where, you know, the old construct of marriage under the patriarchal system is transforming, you know, digesting the delulu around romantic relationship and the nuclear family, and moving into a greater connection to earth energy and community. So hence where we're being guided. This is part of the shift of living in greater inspiration or living intuitively, is that you're being guided by your soul, you're being guided by your spirit, which is interpreted within the mental emotional and the heart-centered neutrality ultimately as well. So the grandfather medicine man has come up, and I'm going to read it as a start off point. So the grandfather medicine man energy, and it's in the upright. So take this drum. Its heartbeat rhythm is calming. It reminds you of your mother's womb and can put you into a meditative state. Meditate daily to bring peace and harmony into your life. The vibrations of the drum can draw out negative energy patterns from the body, or it can release blocked emotion. Hello. Hey, Scott. Good morning. Yes. I didn't sleep very well, and as I often do, I'm just kind of giving myself a bit of time this morning, and it's all on flow, isn't it? So the vibrations of the drum can draw out negative energy patterns from the body, or it can release blocked emotions. Those two things are similar, right? So what are they saying? They draw out negative emotions, but of course releasing blocked emotions, it's the same. If we're releasing blocked emotions, we're letting go of negative energy and patterns. Yeah. The sound becomes an expression of your feelings and puts you in touch with your inner rhythms. Okay? This is making me think of like, okay, so this Virgo and Pisces nodal axis point that we're all in, and how Virgo is often medicine and health and the attention to detail and looking after our bodies and looking after our world. And then within the opposite of the Pisces axis, this is about our spirituality, and they go together. All of the opposing, you know, signs are always going together. As in, we need our spirituality to function in the material world optimally, right? That's the idea of accessing these quantum perspectives, where we're following that spirit to work with earth energy, and then vice versa. Earth energy, the world that we're perceiving around us, can reflect aspects of self, right? Things we need to work on, things that can improve our lives. Okay, so divine guidance and loving clarity. I'm live. Thank you. Hala hala. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. These videos really are for fun entertainment. I do offer private tarot readings. I work with people online with yoga. Divine guidance and loving clarity. Divine guidance and loving clarity. What are the messages for this collective? This is seemingly going another way. There's that message again. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. This is what this came through like last week or something, didn't it, Scott? Like born to be wild. Lovely little tower moment there. So there's a 10 of coins. This is pretty juicy. Kickback, payback. Or okay, be mindful, like severance, I'm hearing package, or like where we have to let go of something or sell a business or let go of a job to then get the monies. It's a good amount of money, but there's seemingly something we're having to release, or potentially a feeling of loss of power, that we lose some power, we lose some status, we lose something to then get the monies. But it's a lot of money, just in the tarot deck, it's about as wealthy as you're gonna get. So the 10 of coins is a pretty juicy card. A King of Cups is here. There's a movement forward for some of you. Greater integrity and sense of spirituality. This could be somebody beyond the veil that looks over us, that helps guide us, like our guides. Or it's a person. It's a person. I get more of a friendly connection. The 10 King of Cups. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. They're focusing on that cup, okay? They're focusing on that cup and moving things forward. There's something mysterious about that Six of Sword as far as, movement in the night. Not necessarily knowing exactly where we're going, and just having to, steer the ship. That's why that King of Cups is there. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. This is like somebody that's seen your journey and that's helping you overcome past conflict, past pain. So this is part of the title and the intuitive messages around breaking through. So this eclipse portal is humongous, like humongoid, because also Pisces is that final axis, right? This is this is a nodal transition that is really mega, because it's also aligned with certain sequences and patterns, retrogradations, and then the big major planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and then Saturn, are all moving into different signs. This is like new worlds, new things opening up that are beyond our wildest dreams, right? That we've been chipping away at, working at, inner work, shadow work, all the works, right? And yet we are still possibly in foggy territory. We still might be on some ship and not we're not seeing the shore yet, but this is part of the breakthrough energy, and this is why the retrogradations are pulling us back to close chapters, right? To release, let go, purge, process. Part of here why I live, to come back into my own heart and process and release some old dreams that are no longer available, maybe, right? Or just not what we thought they were. There's a lot when Venus is retrograde, and she's well into it now, right? So there's a real like, oh, you're not who I thought you were, or so anyone else who has the dreamy, when you visualize and dream and you have a lot of love and compassion and all the dream, and then when the physical encounter doesn't match up with the dream, right? I also know that some of you might be recognizing more powerful shifts, right? So like, say you meet somebody from your past and you're really different. You've shifted a lot. You're feeling really good about life. You're feeling really empowered. You're feeling blah, 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 awesome. And then you encounter somebody that maybe you met this person when you were not feeling super empowered and you were not on it and hala hala. And you looked up to this person and you really, really thought they were the bee's knees or thought that they were this powerful person or believed in all of this potential. And then all these years have passed and you like bump into them or you re-encounter them and it's different. You're different, they're not. They've stayed the same. They're still vibrating in victimhood. They're still repeating certain patterns. Or you're seeing the patterns for what they are and you're like, intriguing. So your potential making manifest is being reflected by the past coming round and giving you the opportunity to learn the lesson and let it go. That's part of this week's signature. So we've had or are having, like I think today even and tomorrow, yesterday, today, tomorrow, as in March 11th to 13th, there is thanks Scott for share. I'm not necessarily keeping it total in touch with the comments just to stay on flow. The Saturn conjunct the sun, so that can be getting information like what we were talking about even before, like having to let go of a job or change a job or being given a certain package. Make sure you read the fine print. That's also part of the retrogradation, especially when Mercury goes retrograde. If there's sort of bigger changes, make sure you read the fine print. Virgo has a lot to do with attention to detail. And then Pisces is like potentially being not scammed, but maybe feeling that way or betrayed or like we're in some dreamy like, oh, sweat, like I'm going to get paid to not work for 3 months. And then you check the fine print and it's only 1 month or, okay, so just be mindful, Emperor reverse, that we could potentially be a little bit scammed or like taken aback by a bad deal, or these are just for these next few weeks. Okay, things, there will be greater clarity come mid-April. Maybe we can hold off on moving forward on certain things until mid-April, and or allow as in let yourself have those encounters, meet up with the exes if you want to, go look back at some old job that you think maybe is for you, and then but be aware of the delulu factor, the self delulu, or other, or like how we're interpreting and seeing other people, versus the practical reality, Virgo, that practical reality and energetic exchange. I think a lot of these last few years, or just our lives unfolding as a collective, as a generation, are honing our spiritual gifts and talents, allowing ourselves to trust the intuition more. Why? Because the world that we were taught to believe in, the external projected world that we were taught to believe in, a lot to do via old programming based in trauma conditioning and propaganda, psychological warfare, that's opening up and falling apart. So our ability to stay grounded in the present moment and to know that we're not, manipulation and in control in the way that we were taught, so like just work hard and these are again propagated projections of our own enslavement. So coming alive and awakening to our divine gifts and awakening to our broader potentials is just huge and beautiful. However, it's not grandiose. It's not materialistic. It's not necessarily what we think and project and what we like dream it to be. It's much more, and I can only share with you as like my own personal life unfolds and my experience reflects things. And I mean, a lot of the things I've manifested have taken way longer, and there's been a lot of my own delusions of grandeur, which have broken down and softened and created a lot less grandiosity, but we can only often look back and see it when we're in it, and understanding how we're working with this physical body and why certain things are important in this physical realm. But of course, we all have access to our spiritual divinity, which we can share with one another. And it's that potency and purity which allows us to be supported in the physical realm. Divine guidance and loving clarity. There's potentially a message here coming in, or a sense of speed and direction. Maybe a little bit more fun, some ceremony here with the Three of Rivers. Like maybe you all are going to get together with some friends and have a little party. Three of Rivers, like having fun with the elements, yeah? There's gifts coming through as well. These, again, could be divine gifts with the Ten of Coins there. The gift of trees. Oh, there's two snakes. Something about like a nectar, like eating eating the forbidden fruit, or I'm thinking of like the pineal gland and like receiving the nectar of life. So this, again, I'm interpreting it intuitively, but this is a very primordial, right? Like innate. Like, okay, another way to express it just could be like Kundalini activations, feeling more connected to your serpent energy. Hey, my loves, if you're new, if you're or not, and check out if you're subscribed. It'd be fantastic to create more flow on the channel for my lovers. There is a Patreon community. They get their own exclusive content and often ad-free first access. And they know me pretty well. The patrons have been crews for many years now, and yeah, divine guidance and loving clarity. The Knight of Swords. What's more clarity? Knight of Swords, air sign, moving forward. There's a speed with which we're moving forward now here, and maybe releasing stress, receiving abundance. Woo! This card will forever and always remind me of Scott. So there could be also, okay, like a turning in. We talked about that too, like meditation, vibration station, doing your meditation, moving forward. You're moving forward, but we probably still can't see the shore, okay? Take your time, read the fine print, especially if there are any like exiting of businesses or jobs or selling things or contracts, okay? 10 of Coins is a substantial kickback. There's money coming in, there's resources coming in, but it might come through a loss, okay? I'm feeling momentum. Okay, so for some of you, this is momentum. This has been building for a while, 3 years, 3 lifetimes. You're moving forward, you're learning, you're accumulating. There's momentum being built toward a fine-tuned abundance, you being at peace, which is maybe the abundance is more to do with your health, right? But there is a 10 of Coins in the upright. So what we're preparing ourselves to release of, like you could think of it too, releasing the illusion of power to embrace your true abundance, your true inheritance, yeah? This is primordial gold. There's something, so this is the tree of life, but you're not eating the apple, you're eating the sweet nectar. You're eating the golden juices. But there's an activation here with that snake and the gift of trees. It's like I just get this message here that it's not like we're in testing ground anymore. We're not being tested anymore. We're just letting go. Letting go to open up. Dropping the stress, dropping the fear. It's like, okay, another way to explain it would be like a lot of us have been doing a lot of shadow work and we're rewiring our nervous system. So things that once triggered us don't trigger us. Things we used to fear, we're not afraid of anymore. We're building up momentum. We're steering the ship. And as we move forward, the structures that we're leaving behind are collapsing. The tower, upright. That's why we're being guided, my lovers. We're, to a certain degree, this world of fear would have us be in fear and like, we're constantly blaming and attacking one another, possibly doing harm. When you're being guided on a spiritual journey out of fear, out of darkness, and into your own light-filled vibration, to share that exquisite beauty with other in harmony with the planet Earth, right? Three of Rivers is a shared experience. No one's an island. We're here as autonomous spiritual beings, but we have this shared physical planet, which the more we enlighten ourselves through that sweet nectar of divinity, we activate our connection to the planet. It's like the shamans of indigenous tribes and First Nations that actually use plant medicine to relate and connect, but knowing that it's in ceremony, it's not, to be abused or like, oh, it's gonna give me enlightenment. No, no. Right, this is why sacred ritual, this is why ceremony, this is why an authentic initiatory and graduation process is always and often contained in indigenous aspects, but also you can see ritual and ceremony in religious context. But we have to, as people, have to reclaim our spirituality and our initiation into that deeper spirituality to share and to teach one another, because a lot of the old structures have been distorted by power and control. Right? And this is even, like I said, the Pluto and Libra generation is transforming the construct of marriage because there's insidiousness and or darkness of power, control, possession intertwined with the construct of that ideation. Part of why there's been the Hollywood propaganda machine around love and happily ever after, as in the healing regenesis. Maybe it's different for a lot. I'm sure it is super different for everybody, but for me, those attraction points have brought about the illusion of love and romance and happily ever after, and actually triggered out some of the darkest lower bass tones of grandiosity and delusion and thinking it's love and marriage, or thinking someone's coming to save us, or thinking somebody else is going to be responsible or care, or like da 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 da. And broaden the perspective to realize that all of those things are true to a certain degree. People do come along and help. People do show up and help us and da 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 da. But we're not hyper fixated on this one singular relationship to fulfill the grand manifestation. And this is part of accessing our personal power, because we've really, in many ways, been programmed to give our power to what society has told me I'm meant to create. I'm meant to make babies. I'm meant to be a good wife. I'm meant to whatever might be for our personal demographic, right? So those of us that have been guided and awakened to our greater spirit, in many ways, are going to continue to be awakened to lead by example, in love, in compassion. It's the truth that sets us free, not the program. This is why often is the case. We want this idealistic program, and then our kids are not who we want them to be, or things happen to us and to our families and our children's to teach us some of the most profound lessons, which is often humbling, or stripping of us of egoic attachment to status and power. Patterns. Yeah. Okay. So we're either breaking through to build that momentum and move forward, accessing that breakthrough energy right this month. We're in it. We're in it now until mid-April, right? And then we're going to be, woo, off we go. Moving forward with greater speed and centeredness, and probably joy as well. Joy and feel-good vibratories. We will continue to have to harmonize and work with those patterns and rituals to keep our bodies healthy and well, but that's been part of the last phase of co-creation and healing, to allow ourselves to stay grounded as the energies start to peak. Yeah, so more of the collective is awakening, and depending on where we're at in our awakening journey, we're here to hold space. We're only here to be present in love and compassion, right? To know the self, and the self is the presence of love that allows us all to access our healing divinity. We're moving forward with greater speed. I mean, look, I've got a 10 of coins. Holla Shazam. We're walking through. And the abundance card. Or, depending on our soul's journey, we'll repeat a pattern. We'll go, and again, the pattern might look different. It might look like a different person. It might look like a different situation. But depending on what we're vibrating, it's probably the same. So we're going to loop back, and that could be however long, lifetimes. It just means that our physical reality and, you know, what we're doing and what we're vibrating and who we're relating to and the energetic doesn't change. And that's, again, I was speaking to this, my recent experience of encountering someone and thinking, whoa, I feel really different. I've changed this, and this, and cleared this, and feel all this. And I might have been attached to an ideation, a delusional kind of imaginative creation, and or accessing a true reality of potential. But if those other people aren't shifting and morphing and accessing their greater, higher potential, you'll recognize that they're repeating a pattern. And usually our patterns are keeping states of victimhood, the illusion of power through victimhood, even because, again, we get attention through playing the victim. And we can usually see it in people's reality that doesn't change. So that, as in, I'm not even sure how to quite describe it. It's very visceral. It's very obvious when we're encountering it and we've risen or something, or we've expanded, or we've centered ourselves. And then we encounter someone that we put on a certain pedestal, and then we have the actual physical encounter, and like, they haven't shifted. They're the same. They're like still looping in their own patterns, but we can see those patterns more clearly. Where if we met them at a different phase of our lives where things weren't that great for us, or we would have projected them as like more powerful or really special or something, and then years or months goes by and they're still in that same place. And I witnessed that too, in the way that we can pull in, as in we'll be attracted to the people that will keep us in those patterns, essentially, when we're not self-aware enough, when we're not fully owning and transforming our lower bass tones to usher in those greater potentialities. So then we'll attract in people that make us feel powerful, as in they're at a different stage, and they'll just, you know, we could, and or we'll pull in people that are not going to fundamentally challenge us. So this is not some new beginning. This is just a moving in a different direction. Some of us, when it comes to love and money, that's Venus. Venus typically as a signature is always going to be looking at our values and how we appreciate ourselves and how we appreciate other people and how we represent that and exchange that in the world, right? So the Venus retrograde with Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, and Cancer, it's all been holla shazam, pulling us back, you know, over our home and family, and how we're able to express ourselves, how we're able to move forward in those energetics, and then how we value ourselves, and we feel like we can express that beauty and be reflected in that beauty. Like it's all happening, my lovers. Why? To break us through to the other side. Come on. Right? Ooh, 3 of Swords. Come. We were doing so good. Okay, but that fair enough. Like, that just makes me think of, again, processing the pain, feeling it to healing it. And that, again, that's a recognition for me, depending on our programming. As in, my psychicness could see the potential energetic of somebody, but it doesn't mean that's where they're at. And a lot of the disparity in energetic vibration is a lack of vulnerability, as in people that are not connected to their feelings, they're they like to maintain a certain illusion and a certain amount of control, and or they're just like in these like crazy cycles. And like, let's be real, in our culture, society, I live in the United Kingdom, I was born in Canada, I have relatives and good friends in the United States and all over Europe for that matter. And I mean, culturally speaking, there's a lot of avoidance. There's a lot of just numbing ourselves. And I'm talking by the way we use our devices and phones, the patterns and habits that we get in. We could be workaholics, shopaholics, alcoholics, drugaholics, all the things to avoid feeling, to avoid being, the resistance to just being still, right? Kurt Mill's in the house. Kurt Mill is in the house. Oh, fab. You'll catch us in the live share à demain. Sleep well, my friend. It is super late for you, isn't it? My goodness. You're looking at either super duper late or very, very early in the morning. And then I guess it's just being guided because whoa, the eclipse energies. I did not sleep very well last night. And I took all morning just to kind of flow. And then here we are. It's all pure intuition, reign supreme, divine guidance, love, and clarity. I'm still getting more messages here, you guys, so let's crack on. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're new, please like, subscribe, share. We're working it. Is it worth it? You know, it's worth it. I feel a lot more liberated with regards to the business and letting go of just this like incessant sort of capitalist program of growth, increase, profit, growth, hustle, increase. And I'm truly working on just a little bit more life balance, you know, making sure I'm connecting with my friends and my family and making sure I'm taking myself out on regular dates. I've been partaking in roller skating. That's tonight. I'll be going roller skating for the adult skate sesh tonight to pick up some tips. And then Thursday there's a hoops class that I go to. And of course my daily yoga practice and just walking as a meditative practice as well. So and you know, as far as the breakthrough energy, I'll only be able to share when it comes through. Yeah. Let's go, Dragonfly. Let's go. Yeah, I'll continue to share. I listened to a couple astrological content creators on TikTok that really inspire me with regards to the way they where they talk about the magic and what we've been working on. And yeah, some of these cycles that haven't just been like, you know, I've been working at this business for, you know, this has been 25, so 12 plus years, right? It's not some like, it's not really a profit oriented business. It's like a soul driven mish. And the breakthroughs and breakdowns and breakthroughs that I've had recently have been very core woundy and connected to the mother father wound and the ancestral lineage and the Delulu of grandeur, Delulu and fantasy around love and romance, and thinking that you're going to meet this person and all these things are going to work, but actually it's sometimes like painfully the opposite, where it's ushering us to be more autonomous. It's ushering us to get to know self even better. It's ushering us to believe in the power of our own visions, to make manifest and to create, right? We all have purpose, we all have value, and there's something coming through too about the shadow. This is, I guess, part of having space and time on our own. because with every encounter, there's likely like a shadow expression, especially love, especially if you're having, especially like if you're having sexual encounter, that there's a huge collective shadow there. I'll see if any messages come through. There's this provider energy that I'm going to look at, and that's come up reversed, but there's also the dragonfly. She's in the upright. I got the hummingbird. When I first got the deck, I got a hummingbird energy. It was so beautiful. It made me weep. Because I had a psychic reading. I had a psychic reading gifted to me by my sister at the very early part of the year. January 3rd is when I had the reading. And she said, now, I ended up going to Morocco for about a month in end of January, early February, but that trip was not booked. It was not on my radar when I had my psychic reading. And she said, I can see waves and tall ships, and I feel like this is something from your past. And I said, well, I used to go to Morocco and host surf yoga retreats. And then within a week, I booked a gig to go to Morocco and teach yoga. And I cannot tell you how that has shifted my energetic trajectory and really allowed me to kind of like get back on the path a bit, get back into my own trust and faith and resonant connection. The polarity for me in my own personal sign, not that it matters or that you particularly care, but I'm an astrological nerd. I've been tracking my chart increasingly for years and working with clients on their charts as well, just to garner some intuitive insight, just to get little hits when you're looking at that wheel and the transits. But I have a north node in the house of Cancer in my 7th house. So there is something really vital, and that means that my ascendant and my south node is in Capricorn in the 1st house. So I have an independent spirit. I know how to do lots of stuff by myself. There's a little bit of hyper independence, which is beautiful, and we want to respect and honor our south node's signature energy, because you can't not really be who you are. But that north node is getting increasingly spicy, increasingly crunchy, where it's like you can't just be cutting people out and off you go on your horse by yourself. There's like community where none of us are an island. My Capricorn energy be like, shh, watch me, right? But then it's like, whoa, soften, love, share, connect, work on building trusted relationships with people. And at the same time, I think the North Node Cancer 7th house to me is like, not like settling either. You know, we want my working life, my clients, my friends, my besties are amazing. And I've had to lose a lot. I've had to let go of a lot, right? I've had to kind of suffer in my own self-isolation and independence to a certain degree to really open up to trusted friendships, to community, to keeping the heart open for love, but letting go of the delusions and the romanticization of it, right? So, okay, Dragonfly, here we go. What's my business? So, Dragon message is, if Dragonfly has shimmered into your view, it is encouraging you to see the magic in everyday life. As time is fleeting, make the most of it. It also tells you to be open to change, especially to becoming who you are rather than who you think you are. Are you too rigid and programmed? This is a lot of recap what we're talking about, right? Ask Dragonfly to show you how and when to make changes. It reminds you to refine your skills to enhance material abundance. But remember to thank the little nature spirits who help everything grow and blossom. right? Like connecting to planetary wisdom authentically and receiving the message, receiving that joyful, abundant message. Okay, and now let's look at this provider energy. I'm getting a message mutually really with Scott Meister around also like that provider energy is making me think of this sense of being held, knowing that we're truly supported, knowing that we're truly loved. Provider, here we go. The gift of sweet grass. So provider's reverse. Let's look at the reversal message here. If sweet grass comes reversed, it may be telling you that you are lacking in both gratitude and responsibility. Are you faltering in your duty to care for a parent or a child, a husband or wife, a friend, employee, or student? Life is a precious gift. Too often we ignore this gift by frittering away a lifetime on pointless activities. Life is short, but it can be sweet if we walk a path of beauty, harmony, and gratitude. I recognize this as something I've witnessed is when we're really stressed and chaotic and not really looking after ourselves, we can end up being like irresponsible. And then when we're not looking after ourselves and not being responsible, we can end up hurting other people. And depending on our level of emotional maturity, we can then deny and want to avoid, because why hurt people, right? And I know from that point of like, whenever somebody's had the courage and vulnerability to be like, that hurt my feelings, or you did this and that hurt, there's a curiosity in earnest. Oh no, well, why don't I sorry? I would never want to hurt you. Talk to me about why that hurt. And that's really been learned and cultivated through responsibility, self-responsibility, and also receiving the other. A lack of emotional responsibility, people who project, people who then somehow find a way to like blame you and make excuses for their behavior rather than be fully responsible to make effective change. We're all in constant motion. We're all constantly changing, right? And yet finding that it's the change that leads us back into self and integrity that the world be looking for. How do we trump the AI agenda? How do we truly overcome the delusion of a kind of systematic enslavement pattern? We become the power and voice in our own life, rather than being dictated to by a political agenda, by an AI agenda. The thing is, these tools are tools that of course can be used for the positive. But if we give our power to them and pretend as though they are more powerful than the self, then we give our power away, right? We deny our own power and we continue to be enslaved. We continue to fall victim to our own enslavement patterns, patterns of victimhood. It's the deep grief of owning the worst of the worst that we've experienced in a lifetime. To see our part, to see the depth of our own emotional outpouring that would have created and or attracted or kept a certain situation in place. It's owning the responsibility, where if we're just saying this person needs to change and they're not doing this and they're blah, 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 blah. And so often is the case, we will sabotage the people, places, and experiences that really want the best for us. Why? Because there's a part of our soul that's not ready to make that change, that's not ready to face that pain, right? Again, alchemical, natural, beautiful change really does, miraculous change, being released, letting go, really does come through inner work, healing the pain and the distortion that is connected to that pattern in the first place. And a lot of this stuff is inherited. It's not obvious. And like, this happened when I was a child, and that's why hala. A lot of it is just your inherited patterns from your ancestors. You know, like every human, I would dare say, has some sort of abandonment wound, because as a species, we have self-abandoned. We denied our power. We sold out. We sold our soul to these corrupted forces, which increasingly, we are awakening to the fact that these so-called savior bodies governments and leaders and celebrities. They're they're not our saviors. They're nobody in that regard. You know, even the great teacher that we refer to as Jesus Christ, this was a person that had profound teachings and embodied the teachings, not I am your savior, follow me, although there could be actual expressions like that, but it's referring to the altar of God that exists inside every single human heart, and the temple, right? The temple where we receive the download and the vision of what our spirit, the Holy Spirit, is asking us to align with. And it's the truth of our alchemical spiritual manifestation. It's just the profundity of some of the emotional pain and backlog that some of us might have to work through is a little bit hardcore. But that's part of more people endeavoring it. Because the more people that endeavor it, it's like the awakening and or evolution of our species is very quantum. So the more people that do it, the easier it gets. The more people that be doing the shadow work, the more people that can do it with greater ease and speed. That's Neptune. That's Neptune going in to Aries. It's gonna get speedy, my lovers. Be ready. Get ready. Yeah, and then that just makes me think of like the true ceremony, the gift of this life. That that's the weird thing about the matrix or the kind of capitalist patriarchal programming. It's like everybody's all stressed, but everybody's got lots of stuff. Shopping, getting, spending, working, shopping, stressing. Instead of like just, whoa, I'm alive. And the gift, like the gift of our existence, the gift of the earth and what she provides. Right? Oh my God, like it's so effing beautiful. And it's almost like bizarro that people don't see it, or people are too frightened to take the time. Why? Because the patterns are keeping us devoid of emotional pain, right? Some of the patterns we're locked into, emotional reactions, finding, like, seeking out partners and seeking this and seeking that, and being on our phones and thinking this is important and that's important and blah, blah, blah. It's all just a distraction to avoid the emotional pain that we're harboring, that we're carrying. And health axes, Virgo, Pisces, that's coming around, my lovers, increasingly. The delusion of a modern medical pharmaceutical practice that would, I dare say, keep us sick. The food sources that keep us sick, and the habits and patterns of our modern working paradigm that keep us sick, the survival mode patterns that keep us sick, versus the awakening of our consciousness that allows us to be well in a higher base tone of ritual. Virgo, yes, attention to detail. Yes, cleanliness, but no to victimhood, no to perfectionism. I'm such a good person, slaving away for so and so, meanwhile not looking after myself, right? So, is this the final card now? Yeah, I think so. So, side note, there's some solar activity coming in. That's like more very broadly collective, is also part of the awakening and the speed with which we're awakening. Yeah. So this is like solar activity, high frequency energetics that are like, whoo, maybe making us sleepy, maybe making us a bit like high vibratory, and or hence tools, practices that help us stay grounded and centered. Get ready. Get ready for breakthrough, right? Get ready for change. Divine guidance and loving clarity. Hella, hella, hella. divine guidance and loving clarity. What's the final message? There is a 10 of coins. There is a releasing, if that's any message to you. So releasing of an external power and getting some monies. This is the goddess of creativity. These are both upright energies. Interestingly, like they're very similar colors. There's this sort of indigo pink, indigo pinky type of color. What is she? Sahasrahara. Sahasrara. And Parvati. The goddess of devotion, love, and yoga. You pull upon Parvati when you've taken immense action toward becoming your highest self. In Hindu mythology, Parvati was in love with unattainable Shiva. He was deep in the mountains practicing yoga and detached from the material world. She knew he needed the feminine to bring him down to earth. He was totally inaccessible. Instead of begging and pleading, Parvati decided to become her highest self and seek enlightenment through yoga. Her family objected, saying women cannot become yogis, but she headed to the mountains anyway, where she stood in a frigid stream, balancing on one leg for uncountable months or years. Eventually, Shiva felt her immense energy and fell in love with her. Because of her strength and determination, Parvati represents commitment to practice, unbreakable willpower, and the power of self-transformation. Continue toward your journey of enlightenment. That's powerful, you guys. Rando as well. That's something there's something about the polarities of the feminine, masculine, and the feminine, like, rising her energy. And it's sort of like inverted and opposite or upside down, but like there's a deep wisdom coming through the feminine. And fundamentally, there's an essence of like the masculine rises his power through the feminine. As in, we can't, as a collective, regardless of the gender that you are, you can't dominate yourself. You can't control and dominate and deny. So domination is an aspect of denial of the feminine. Denying your alchemical wisdom, denying your feelings, which can often be represented in denying other people. Okay? So denying the wisdom, the mystery, the darkness, even if we deny that, we inhibit our masculine energy. As we embrace the feminine, the masculine becomes more powerful, more empowered, but not in some weird dominant control like I'm a man, right? it's wonderful. Or just the shadows of the old construct and what it's kind of done to our species. So I'm not even sure where she is. This I think that's the chakra, isn't it? There it is. There it is. She's also upright. So crown chakra. We might be getting some downloads when I talked about this higher solar energy, these higher frequencies, like waking us up. Wake up, you humans. Humans. Stop shopping and just chill out. So you may have noticed intuitive rushes of creative wisdom channeling through you, lightening up your every cell. This is called a download. And it is a message from the divine selected to come to you because you have the potential to birth it on this planet. These downloads occur when the crown chakra is open, which may only be a few seconds, but enough to illuminate a path that you never knew possible. Find what brings you to these channeling states and bring yourself there as much as possible. Whether it's through meditation, walking in nature, singing, or writing, the absence of the mind allows the genius of the divine. Those intuitive hits chose you. Now it is time to birth them to life. That's also El Potente. Going within, allowing those downloads to come through us, yeah? That's to release the monkey mind. We can't change the world for the same level of consciousness or the same mind that created it. We have to shift. We have to operate differently, yeah? Okay, my loves, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, if you enjoyed, please feel free to like and share and help me grow the channel, because that's what people are meant to do. And yeah, it's just me and running All to Love as a business. Or you join the Patreon community. Top tier patrons get a little discount on readings and sessions with me. And they also get access to the Be the Change online courses. And I have a book called The Fearless Life Guide, which you can buy on Amazon, although boycott Amazon, so don't worry. Kindle and Audible as well. And there's the merchandise line, which I'm having a lot of fun working on as I ebb and flow and intuit just this new paradigm business, which is really more about like sustainability and co-creativity and mischief. Thanks, Kurt. Have a wonderful night, my friend. Sleep well. I hope you do get some good sleep. I know it's late for you. And again, with all that kind of solar activity, it's likely that as the eclipses approach, we might have to kind of really settle ourselves, have some nighttime tea to help ourselves have deeper sleep. So I hope you have a great one. Sleep well. I'll speak to you guys real soon. Thanks for being here. Take care. Peace out.